Silverback Chronicles podcast. It's your boy Big A. Check out my brother Dre.
Hello, what?
What's good, bro?
What's up, baby?
Another day.
We here.
We here.
Let's go.
Triple C.
Yes.
Yo.
How you feeling, bro?
Maintaining and chilling, bro.
Awesome. People, season 4 again. We appreciate you. Another episode. We cooking nonstop. We love you. We appreciate you. Keep tuning in. Listen, we're not going to waste no time. Without no further ado, we got our lovely sister in the house. Her name is Alanah. What's up, sis?
Hi.
How you doing?
How are you guys?
Thank you for coming out.
Such a pleasure to be here.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful night.
It really is.
It is.
It is.
So please tell the world, where you from, born and raised?
I'm from the Bronx, but I was raised in Baltimore. But BX, stand up.
How long was you there for? About a week?
Hey, listen, what you're not going to do is sun me in this space.
I'm just saying. So how long was you in New York before you made the transition down to Baltimore?
I was in New York until I was 8 years old.
Okay, good.
Yeah, officially. Good. And then my mom got a job with BGE.
Nice.
That's what moved us here. And then,
AKA Con Edison.
Right, where's Bond? And that's why we got here.
Like that.
Yeah.
How long you been down here for? Since you was 8, obviously.
Since I was 8. I mean, I went back and forth, cousins, family, Thanksgiving.
Right.
Shout out to Thanksgiving, that's coming up.
That's a fact.
Shout out to my mom stuffing.
Shout out to
Woo!
Mom do throw down in the
She
kitchen?
throws down.
Shout out to my mom's mashed potato salad.
Word. Shout out to Mom Deuce, mac and cheese, salmon cakes.
And I like my crispy penne, you heard?
Yeah.
The penne, I needed to be crispy.
I got to stay away from the pork, though.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just the skin.
I got my brother, one of my brothers from back home.
Yeah.
He don't fuck with the swan at all.
Okay.
And he's like, yo, stay away from it. I'm telling you.
Salam, my brother.
All day, every day.
Yeah.
Not even the
Right.
skin?
I can't.
It's so good, though.
It's
So
amazing.
crispy, right?
Right. With some hot sauce?
Oh, my God. And I hit it with some lime.
Oh, you put some lime on it?
On everything.
Are you serious?
I put lime in my fucking milk if I had to. Shit.
That's what's up.
I love lime.
So, I'll be listening to my brother Farrah Convict and shit. He
Okay.
be telling me sometimes.
Shout out to him.
All day.
I hear that.
All day.
But yeah, that's when I got to Baltimore.
Okay.
It was way back then, and I've been here ever since. I love Baltimore. It's my home. New York is my home as well. I'm, of course, because I was raised by New Yorkers, a West Indian mother, I'm very New York. But
Right.
there's a lot that's Baltimore about me as well.
Baltimore's special, isn't it?
Baltimore is a very
It's a
special
fucking
place.
dope town.
Very dope.
The city is really dope.
This
It
town
really
will
is.
grab you, man. I'm telling you.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So what's your best thing about Baltimore? Growing up, what do you remember of that Baltimore that like grabbed you? Is it the arts? What is it?
It's the people. It continues to be the people. It's
Yeah.
the people that are here. I think, Charm City really rings true. The people are very charming. Even if it's in the worst way, they gonna get you in there.
Even like the crackheads are charming.
Listen, even the crackheads are charming.
I don't know about
I've
that.
just never
They are. They don't really.
I never came across a charming crackhead.
That's crazy.
You tell them no, and they're like, "All right, man, have a good day."
You never
Well, other
told-
crackheads, they're like banging on your shit. I don't know.
Right, have a good
That's
day.
my experience.
Okay.
Crackheads, they give you some wisdom in Baltimore.
I think so.
If they're not shaking.
I will sit at the feet of a crackhead
I would too. I've done it before.
in Baltimore.
I've done it before.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I'll give
That's
them $10 just for a lesson.
That's huge. That's what's
Not
up.
a lot of people could do that.
Word, because I'm not.
Yo, but you know what's crazy? Like, everybody has like a story, and they stories be, and you're like, what?
But that is true. It'd be some borderline geniuses.
Yeah.
But
It's like
they
if
just
you
chose
would've
that
been-
lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, like if you would have just made that one decision,
Yeah.
you would have been
You'd have been
Oh.
on another path.
1,000%.
Seriously.
1,000%.
Right.
So yeah.
That's dope.
Crackheads. Baltimore.
All day.
Charm.
We need more charm to come back into the city.
I mean, yeah.
That shit been going for over 20, 30
No,
years.
listen
now.
to me. Don't even do that to the city, yo.
Okay,
It's
I'm
like
just saying.
it's a beautiful place. I think there are these sectors and these little hallways and caverns.
Small pockets, right.
Not small pockets where things are happening and people just don't know or they're just not a part of it.
Mm.
I think it's really all a choice. It's like if you want to be a part of the negative, you could be a part of the negative.
Mhm.
If you want to be a part of the positive, you can be a part of the
So,
positive.
like,
It's a
what would you
choice.
say is up and coming right now with the city?
I think the arts and culture in the city is really on an uptick. I mean, we just went maybe like 2 years without the largest arts
Artscape,
festival,
yes.
Artscape, but it's coming back 2023. Shout out to Baltimore Office of Promotion in the Arts. I've done a
Shout
lot of
out.
work with them.
That's dope.
But you know, I'm excited for that to be coming back and for it to be moving into September. It used to happen on like the hottest weekend in the summer.
Seriously.
True.
Okay.
Always after like Pride.
Yeah. Arscape be popping.
Arscape is dope.
It's
I
dope.
love Arscape.
Word. I remember Shirley came and performed.
Mm.
It was like 3-4 years ago she came and performed. It was huge. Dope.
I remember when TLC came. I mean, it was really just TC, not L, but
Yeah, I remember.
but it was dope.
Yeah.
I was right up front. Always good shows though. And they like infusing art into the city. I think that's what is happening right now. We're seeing a renaissance. We've been seeing it since,
it's an artistic town.
It is.
A lot of art in this town.
There's a lot of art in the town.
We have we have dope writers, photographers.
Absolutely.
We're seeing film productions here.
Yeah.
This is one of the most philanthropic cities in the nation. Like
That's a fact.
the dollars are here. You know, it's really all in what you want. So if you want to act like it's just Baltimore Street and crackheads and, you know, despair, by all means. But in my world, when I wake up, I see a lot of promise for the city.
But to be fair, that could be any city, right?
That's any city.
You see the negative in any city because you go to Miami, they got crackheads and all that. And, you know,
and like many people say, you know, as they're exiting their conversations in Baltimore, it's be safe. You know, because it is one of those cities that does have those perils, that does face its challenges, that is seeing a lot of, you know, shit. And that's real. But I think it's really all in the choices you're making. You can choose to live that life, you know, or not.
That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
So what high school did you go to in the city?
I didn't go to school in the city. I went to school in the county. So I went to Owings Mills High School. Okay. That was second. I went to Randallstown first. I got in a lot of trouble there. Okay. I don't want to talk about it.
Everybody, what's up with everybody in these cities, in these high schools? That everybody gets kicked out of these. Like you didn't go to your original high school.
It's called asked to leave. I was asked to leave. I was asked to leave my high school.
Oh, so you was asked to leave as well.
I was expelled. I was 16 when I got expelled.
She was kicked out.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. For what?
It was a personal protest. I don't believe in standardized testing. I thought it was very restrictive, and I had a whole little thing about it. And so I decided that I was going to pull the fire alarm in personal protest to the fact that we were about to have a Scantron test. And Scantrons are little sheets where you fill in the bubbles and they put it in a machine and they grade it. Yeah. So it's very impersonal. So teachers don't grade them. They don't look at them. They don't read them. And they're just kind of like, you know, they go through a machine. And I just felt like, how am I getting graded? Now, I knew I wasn't prepared for these tests. It was a math test. I'm very bad at math. But I still knew all of this enough to know that, you know, I'm going to take the Scantrons, put them in the sink, wet them, pull the fire alarm. I did this 3 times before I got caught the 3rd time. And this is a lesson because my homies convinced me to show them what I was doing. And I took them away where the cameras were, where I wouldn't have ordinarily done that. But because I was trying to show off, I lost my train of thought and did what I wouldn't have usually done. And so I ended up getting caught because of the cameras. They also told on me, even though I had changed my clothes, I had a whole thing. What? I was like a little criminal. I ended up being a misdemeanor. Apparently it's a misdemeanor to do that, to call the city, resources out that many times. I had a probation officer. It was a whole thing. So I ended up getting my GD. I had to change the clothes.
Fight the power, sister soldier.
Fight the power. I know.
So you couldn't find a teacher to actually show you to understand it better, the math problems?
You know, I think it was a lot bigger than that. You know, I think a lot of times we look at children and we like, you see what's happening. You see the problem. You see that they're not good at the test, that they're not good at the subject. Mm-hmm. But what was happening downriver was my father died of a drug overdose when I was in middle school. I'm sorry. And the emotional things that were happening to me from that point up until my second time doing 9th grade was just tremendous. Nobody could have imagined what was going on in my little head. And I was just acting out. And that's what we see in the little homies now. So
that's tough.
Mm-hmm. Clearly I'm here now, so I'm that bitch, you feel me? I'm doing well.
Yeah.
But
still not fucking with math.
Still not fucking with math. I was just talking about that shit earlier. Still not fucking with math. I will fuck up a comma. Tell you that much.
It's all good.
For real?
That's how it is with most people. Most people good at math. Not good at writing. Most people great at
I'm
writing.
not good at the B plus 1 equals A. The algebra? Is that algebra?
I appreciate it.
Could be a word problem or equation.
Listen.
I'm really good
with
at
that math. I'm not good with that trigonometry.
I love the Scantrons.
Scantrons didn't bother me.
Because I had great people that sat next to me. I had X-ray vision.
You could see.
You gotta be
you
nice
could sit 4 rows ahead of me and I'm on
getting them.
No, baby.
Going-
If you in Baltimore schools, you didn't go to school in Baltimore.
Absolutely not.
If
I'm
you
a
in
New
Baltimore
Yorker.
schools, the people next to you, not solid, baby.
Oh.
Solid.
No, they
Shout
went to
out-
city schools. They went to school over west. No shade, no tea, no shade, no tea. But you can't copy off of them.
Shout out to my man E. Munoz. I ain't even know him.
I
Science
didn't even know
class.
him. Looked out.
E. Munoz. I'm like, yo, it's number 4. I ain't know him. He was like, B. I said, bet.
My man.
Boom. Still talk to him. Yeah.
And
all
you
those
feel that
guys.
though, especially when you know you ain't studied, and you on that set, you just sitting there like,
What the fuck?
you start looking around and shit.
And you see, you know what's the craziest thing is that when you're looking around, right, H? When you're looking around and like the kid, it's just like, shh, shh, shh.
Breezing through it.
You're like, what the f?
And you come across somebody that understands your worries because you're like, you see that one person and it's like,
Right. They're like,
and they
yo,
put it to the side.
Yeah.
You know,
The worst feeling is when you raise your hand to go to the bathroom and you just in the bathroom staring into the mirror. And
yeah.
you got that little knob going with the water, and you know you can't go back. You know you don't know these answers.
You just don't know nothing.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
So you just meditate into the water in the bathroom, like my life is over.
Fuck.
Some point I gotta go back to.
At some point, I gotta
At
go
some
back.
point,
Yes.
yeah. Face the music and just get creative with it.
Or
Just start looking at their patterns.
Yo, I used to feel the pressure of like when there's a time test and like the first kid gets up and you know what I'm saying?
No,
Gets up and hands
if I
it
know
in.
I didn't study, I just had fun with it. I made people laugh for testing.
See, but like you couldn't talk during the test though. Could you?
I was doing dumb shit.
Really? Oh,
having
you
fun,
was just
though.
distracted.
Yeah.
your
I know what you're talking
administrators.
about. I
must have
hated that
been-
first person too. That like test being like, this test is 2 hours. 15 minutes later, you're like, really? Yo, got up in 15 minutes. Like,
You're
That's
like, what
impossible.
the fuck does he
Yeah.
know?
knowing that was the A student, like you couldn't give nobody else them answers,
Yeah.
like at all. Like all
And
the
you couldn't
off your
look
brain.
out, bro.
Thank you. Nothing.
Ain't got nerve to cover his shit up.
Thank you.
Not
Man.
the butterfly effect
Right.
in the classroom.
Good at
Word,
15.
that dude used to piss me off on that chick. Like you mad smart and you covering up. Like,
Come on.
come on, man, shit the wow.
Shit a while, right?
Like stop.
Seriously.
They're like,
Like you
this.
good. You already
Yeah.
know
Like
you're
you
gonna pass
know
it.
you're gonna pass.
Right.
Let a nigga know.
I got so annoyed because I had to take Sequential 1 2 years in a row, my math teacher. And I'm like, yo, it's not me. Something is wrong with their teaching strategies. I go to summer school. I get a different teacher. I have this summer school teacher for 4 weeks. It was like
It clicked.
a breath of fresh air.
Mm.
How she broke down the problems a lot easier. And believe 2 years with the same Sequential 1, 4 weeks, I got a 95 on the Regents.
Mm.
Off of her 4 weeks of teaching. I said, why couldn't these teachers do the shit?
Mm.
Like, you gotta understand your audience.
That's also too.
Some kids learn differently.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with testing. What I was trying to say, like some people get anxious off the timing and the little sheet of paper, you know, versus like long answer. Like I can answer an essay question,
Right.
but like ask me a multiple choice A, B, C, D. What? I don't know.
It's always D. All of the above. All of the
Why you
above.
say it like that? Thank you.
Pause.
Please, thank you. Appreciate that. This fucking guy.
It's always D.
Right out, don't even.
Oh,
It
yeah,
really
right,
is
right.
always D.
Don't even. Just
Jeez. He was confident in the
yeah,
moment.
wasn't it?
He heard it, right?
Right. Just,
It's
right,
always.
that's the answer.
Yeah, that's it
that's
right
the one he
there,
gonna go for. It got A, B, and C, but that's the
Damn,
one.
Zach.
That way. That's the one.
Here we go.
The one we picked.
Right.
You guys,
Excuse me, man.
you got him blushing.
Four seasons.
I'm not blushing.
I wish y'all were in the studio.
She said I'm blushing.
I wish I was in the studio.
I'm blushing.
Oh. All right, I meant E. It was on E.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh,
Okay.
masculinity.
So what subjects did grabbed your attention when you was in school?
English, social studies, history, geography, all of those things.
Yeah, social studies is the shit.
It is.
History is the shit.
It is.
So after high school, what you do after high school?
So when I got expelled, I ended up getting my GED, maybe within a year of that. And before that time, I went to a community college. I went to Baltimore City Community College. I didn't have my diploma. They didn't even
BCCC.
ask.
Oh, they didn't
B-triple-C,
ask?
tighten up that process, B-triple-C.
Just a bit, right?
Just a bit.
Just a bit.
But I was in there, just doing classes. But the most important thing that happened to me at that time was I went to my first open mic and realized that it was like a tool for community building and like a tool for expression. And so that was like a pivotal time because I was like, yo, like I never knew I needed this, but it was something that would, carry me through the next decade and some change.
Okay, now open mic in reference to what? Comedy or just freestyle?
Poetry.
Nice.
Poetry and rap. There was a rapper in particular. And I was like, I don't know if I love him or if I love this thing. It was a little bit of both. I did a lot of that, maybe over the next decade after that. And then, I decided to start my own open mic maybe a couple years after that.
Nice.
And start doing poetry, start performing.
What did that do for you?
It changed my life. I had always been a writer. I was always someone who was filling composition notebooks and writing a lot of words and was always good with my words, with the essays. My mother was always very adamant about my reading. I would read like 100 books a summer, even more during the school year. So I was always very well read, very intelligent young woman. And so it's not that I was like dumb. That's not why I got expelled. I'm clearly very, smart, but it was just, the system, the administration, the things that were behind it. The schools aren't always set up to support every student. So when I got to that point where I was able to see an open mic and see that expression could be free and that it didn't have to fit in the confines of like a lesson plan or things like that, it was like, yo, everything just opened up for me. Like I found my voice, not in that moment, but over the next couple of years, I found that
Your
I
why.
could just, right, my why. I was like, I could live my life for this. I could write, I could perform, I could do these things. I was broke and continue to kind of go back and forth in between that. And I think a lot of creatives don't talk about that, but it's, it's something to live for. Give me something to live for.
So that says, I'm sorry. So that set the stage for what you're doing now. What are you doing now?
Now I'm a community advocate and a writer. I write for a lot of publications that are local to Baltimore. I've also written nationally. And, I just do a lot of public speaking. I've done guest lectures at colleges about things like ethics or writing, or I've taught social studies courses, history. And it's just really running a gamut of so many things. I like to call it godmothering. Some people call me the godmother of Baltimore. There's a lot of things that I've done. Fundraising, arts, culture, production assistance for festivals, all kinds of things. I really just follow my heart. Whatever feels good, whatever feels aligned.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Thank you.
So, damn. So that, if I know it feels like natural to you, but that's got to be a process to like write, right?
Absolutely. It's a huge process. It's like I have to live a little bit in between every time I'm like creating something or writing something. So I go through these bouts of feeling like a lot of people would call it something like writer's block, but it's really not that. It's just you kind of give everything you have to give to your page or to your pen. And then you got to kind of recluse a little bit. You got to find yourself in the house or, have sex. Like, just live your life. Be a human. Raise your kids. And then you come back out and then you have more things to talk about and to reference and to, those little metaphors and things that I put into my writing. If anyone has a chance to go like read my work, like I talk a lot about my coming of age story. I talk a lot about my upbringing, but I also talk about my present experiences. And in order to be able to put that stuff into your work, any storyteller, whether it's on the page or if it's in a rap, comes from living their life. And so I have to do those things before I can write. Before I can write about myself, before I can write about anybody else.
How dope is it that like you're a writer in the same time that like Edgar Allan Poe was from? Does that do anything for you?
Like what part?
Like just the fact that like, he was a phenomenal writer. Like and it's like you're in the same town.
Yeah. I think it does do a lot for me. Yeah.
Do you speak to a lot of youth?
I do.
How was that for you?
It's only really recently that I'm finding youth are my ministry. I used to say they kind of weren't because kids can be a little rambunctious. I love my kids, not everybody's kids though. Like some kids are just outrageous. But only in recent years and months have I been like, you know what, it's really my duty and for it to be a part of my legacy to give back to youth and to make sure that they understand that this is something they could do. So that, girls who are in middle school or wherever they're at in high school aren't getting caught up like I was getting caught up in the wrong things and thinking about the wrong things and doing the wrong things because they feel all these feelings that they can't articulate to people or that they don't understand for themselves. So it's important for me to go back to schools. It's important for me to teach courses and to let them know that this is what it could look like. And they love to Google me because we're in a digital age. Right. So they know who you are. You know what I mean? They ask me, I've been substituting at a Catholic middle school. It's been really interesting. They had a teacher who was going to on a sojourn to Antarctica, and they were like, we need someone to come in and teach social studies for 3 weeks. And then they have somebody out on maternity leave, so I'm getting ready to teach language arts and just started that today. But it's been really interesting. I was teaching 6th, 7th, and 8th grade social studies, both boys and girls. They separate the genders in the classes. That's really interesting.
And Catholic, right?
It's Catholic. Yeah, they separate the genders. So it's only boys class and girls class in every grade.
How's that curriculum?
It's intense. They're learning a lot. It's a Catholic private school. So it's definitely different than what a typical city school would look like. Mm-hmm. But the behavior, because the class sizes are so small, is so much different. It's a little bit more controlled. The setting is, very ritualistic. They come in, they do prayer, they have religion courses, things like that. So it looks a little different, but it's still kids from Green Mountain and, surrounding areas.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it the same curriculum for the boys and girls?
Same curriculum for the grades, yep.
Why did they separate them?
It helps them focus.
Oh.
It's that time where you start, thinking about
doing other things.
I was thinking about it since about 6 years old, so focus is...
It does. That I am not going to lie.
It's paramount.
I see that.
You start thinking about the answer being D, all of the above. That's a callback.
Pause.
Thanks.
So that's why they separate them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's dope. So, okay. So I'm curious. You being a teacher now,
mm-hmm.
how does that set the stage in a Catholic setting as opposed to a regular school setting in a public school? Do you have to critique your teaching style, philosophy to those children, or is it totally different? Because when I think of Catholic, I'm like, I never like that setting is different for me.
Yeah.
So I'm curious on how's your teaching style, and how do they respect it? Are they interested in it?
I think it's I really am who I am across the board, like who I am right here. Mm-hmm. Aside from like the cursing and the little nuanced pieces of conversation that might not be age appropriate, I am who I am. So I come in and present as Alanah Nicole Davis everywhere I go. And I think it's interesting watching the administrators watch me. Mm-hmm. And I love to meet adults, and I love to, self-actualization, when you realize who you are, when you have those moments of like, this is my why, right? When I had that moment all those years ago, when I went to that open mic, that's not something every adult has in their early 20s. That's not something some people reach until they're 40, until they're 50.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm meeting people when I'm in these arenas, and I've worked in many different sectors, who are looking at me and they're like, how did you unlock that? You know what I mean? Like, how is it that you get to be this? You get to be all these things. They go and, of course, Google. They look you up and they're like, all of these things are in your bio. You're published. You're accoladed. You have these awards. You have this. You have that. Why are you even here? But it's not even about things being a step up from another thing. You know what I mean? Sometimes things aren't linear. So I go in spaces, and you can go to a Catholic middle school, and find nuggets and lessons the same way I could find nuggets and lessons doing social media for a Korean man for a bar in Hamden, which is another thing I'm doing right now. So it's like...
It's just about the experience.
It's just about the experience. You can learn all these different things. So my teaching style is eclectic. I show up as myself. And I love doing that, because kids need to see that it doesn't have to be, someone who doesn't speak African-American vernacular English, or someone who is white or light-skinned or, not fat body. Like, I'm thick, if you can't see. I don't know if they're looking at this, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to fit a certain mold. You can just be yourself, and you can be well-educated, and you can be fun and whatever else you want to be. You want to be a TikTok dancer? Do that, but just do your work first, please.
Right. Take care of business first.
Take care of business first, please.
Right.
Yeah.
I do that with my own kids. So.
You have kids?
Yeah, I have 2 daughters.
Nice. How old are they?
They're 10 and 8.
What is that like?
Oh boy, motherhood. The first couple years was interesting, because I was married at first, and then I got divorced. So I got married when I was like 20. I was divorced not until last October, but separated since I was 24. And so that whole decade, that whole era of just like, wow, I'm a wife. Wow, I'm a mother. And then like not being that and having to create a community for myself and my daughters that was away from what a nuclear family might traditionally look like, which is, you know, a mother, a father, or whatever. And so my mother's been a great help to her, to the girls. They're both girls, Blair and Harper. They're really amazing.
Shout out Blair and Harper.
Shout out Blair and Harper.
Beautiful names.
Thank you. And so yeah, being a mother it's a really rewarding thing. You know, they really give back to me every single day. They pour into me every single day. Anytime I have an idea, any event, anything I've ever been a part of, they've come along for the ride. They've held my microphones. They've carried my speakers. They've really held me down. They really
awesome.
Understand the vision. And I think sometimes people think kids won't understand that,
They
but
do.
you could tell them
Yes.
what you're trying to do. So they understand why mommy's at a podcast studio at 9:00.
Right.
They get it.
Right.
That
So,
is super dope.
yeah.
Wow.
hmm
Super awesome.
Yeah.
Are they? What do you think they want to be when they grow up? Do you see their little personalities and little individuals?
Yeah, their personalities are starting to bud and kind of come to. And every year I ask them is something different. But one of them's really into gaming. Blair's really into gaming.
That's dope.
And so we're looking at like just design schools and looking at engineering and things like that so she can kind of figure those things out. And then my other daughter, she's just into her clothes. She's just into herself right now, into her image. And I don't know how that's going to actualize, you know what I mean, over the years of what she'll become. My mother always says she thinks she's like a little beautician, things like that. But I don't know.
It's a
Who
beautiful
knows?
thing.
They could be whatever they want to be.
That's absolutely. Just go
Yeah.
to school.
I'm just blessed to have them be my daughters.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
That's dope. So what's next for you? Since as far as writing, do you want to take that to the like Hollywood? Do you want to write movies? Or do you want to write miniseries?
Yeah.
Like where do you want to take your writing to?
I think there's so many things that I would love to take my writing to. Like I love film and TV and just seeing the people from this city who are finding success in those things is definitely charging me up. It's like, it's like a possibility. D was one of the first people, D Watkins was one of the first people to say, hey, like, do you want to write for Salon? Because he's editor in large there. And so I was able to publish my work nationally, like I said. And I think seeing people who were like, okay with just, moving over to allow you to be in the room, but it's not always just about that. It's about knowing that you belong there. And I know I belong there. Like I know without a shadow of a doubt that my work is that. And like that I do belong in those spaces. So I do want to do those things. But
Shout out to D. Watkins.
Shout out to him.
Absolutely. Shout out to D.
But I do want to like be aligned with what God wants for my life. So I could want all the things in the world. I think I've learned this like especially just about myself and looking at other people over the last decade, being in arts and culture in the city, being in entertainment in the city. You could be on, you could be popping, you could have the best thing in the world, you could have the best product, you could be the best writer, the best spitter, whatever you are. But if God doesn't say that that's it for you, then that's not going to be it. It's not going to come to fruition.
True.
So I have to be obedient. I have to be in these spaces. There are times where I ask myself questions like, God, why am I at a Catholic middle school? Or God, why am I teaching this? Why am I? And you just can't ask those questions. You just have to go forth and do what God is telling you to do. There's something in it for you. Just the same way I didn't know, getting expelled and then going to community college and then going to see that open mic. I didn't see all of that happening. Right. When I got expelled, I couldn't see the open mic. All I saw was I'm a failure. All I saw was my family at Thanksgiving, like, you a dropout. That's all I saw. That's all I could feel. It hurt. But when I went to that open mic and I realized, like, yo, this is a platform. This is something you could use. This is something you could duplicate. I didn't know I was going to learn that skill. So I don't know why I'm where I'm at right now, but I can only imagine when I'm listening to this or when the listeners are listening to this 5 years from now, like, who knows where I'll be, Are
you just like a free spirit like that? Or do you just have a go-to plan to where, like, in order to get here, I got to start here? Or is it you just latch on to things, to whatever's present and whatever you're feeling? What is it with you? Do you have goals set? Or is just that, you know what, I'm going to do this today, or I'm going to do that today? Is there a set plan of action, or you just go with right now?
I have gut feelings, and I have a set of values, and I have my faith, And then that's kind of how I navigate those things.
Gotcha.
So while I'm free flowing, I'm always staying consistent. You know, everything I'm putting out is quality. It's never going to not be that. So I'm not just half-assing every move I make. I'm not just waking up like, you know what, I want to go. No, there's a lot more thought, a lot more prayer, and a lot more intention that goes into those moves. And it's consistent. Like, I've been consistent for a long time now. So those who might know me for doing what I do, or whether you're meeting me now, I'm going to be who I am today. That same heart and that same soul that's in the work 5 years from now, like I said.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Super dope.
I love it.
Absolutely. Triple C, what you got?
As an advocate for a lot of the kids in the city, what do you think some of their biggest what are some of their biggest concerns? Because I'm a kid from Baltimore. I'm a kid from Westport. And shout out to Westport. Shout out to Alameda. I moved to Northeast. Yeah. And some of the things that they see, like, I had people in my life that were able to tell me, like, these are things that people rapping about. They don't, as many people as they kill in their rap music is impossible because they would be considered serial killers. You know what I'm saying? That line was there. I also had the two things that I always say, that we always say you kind of need in life, which is a discipline, something to do, and then discipline to get up and do what you do. But I'm noticing, you know, as we have these conversations with everybody, but to have an advocate in, what's one of the things that, or multiple things that you think, you know, for some of the kids, like they may, you know, again, everybody's on, you know, they on like 12 and all this other crap. But what are some of the things that they talk to you about and then you help them with?
For sure. I think one thing that we faced when, like, I don't want to say we, because we're all kind of different ages in the room, but like, I think one thing that I faced when I was in school was, you know, you kind of stay in a child's place. So you don't talk to adults about certain things, and then you learn to kind of cloak those things and mask those emotions. And then you go your whole life not telling your mom that you used to sneak out and go to the car, you know, whatever you did with that person. And so what I'm really enjoying about my ministry right now and being with the kids is that they're talking to me about their love and relationships. They're talking to me about building connections with friends. And I can see those little connections where it's like, she doesn't have your best interests. He doesn't have your best interests. You know, and I think that's something that we miss a lot as, you know, advocates and like educators and things like that, is telling kids, like, you don't need to be around that person, because we know those things. We've made those mistakes. We all had that friend that just wasn't on the right path. And if we would have avoided situations with them, maybe that one night wouldn't have happened. And we all know one night can change the trajectory of someone's life in a city like Baltimore. That one choice to go rob some candy from a store, or whatever it was, you know what I mean? Whether you're from the west side, the east side, south, whatever, Cherry Hill, it doesn't matter. If you tell kids, hey, you can change things about your relationships to people, you can make decisions. I tell my own daughters this. They have friends, and when the friend's on the phone, they get a little bossy, like, what, you got to go eat dinner? Yes, she has to go eat dinner. You can hang up the phone. You can say goodbye. Don't be afraid to do those things or disconnect yourself from people, because the people that you connect yourself to will have an effect on the outcomes in your life directly, outright.
Nice.
So I like talking to kids about their friendships and their relationships, because
it's good to get them at that age where you can build that rapport and they trust in your word. You know what I mean? Especially if you've been there and done that.
Yeah.
Because that'll definitely change their outlook in the decision-making process moving forward.
Because why are we letting them go through it blind if we already know?
Right, we already went through it.
Yeah.
I've had that conversation, you know, even with some of my family members, where it's like, no, won't you just let them know? Why would I let them fall and bump their head when I don't know the answer?
Like, avoid that. Yeah, you can avoid that.
And I mean, we all as humans have free will. So a kid is going to do what a kid is going to do.
Right.
Especially for like men in society, like, our window is so much smaller than a woman's. So it's like, if I could give you an answer to the test so you could get so much more further in life, like, let's do that.
Do that.
But then it's up to you for you to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you have that smartest kid in the class, why is he covering his test? Why couldn't he help the homies out?
Right.
Don't be selfish, bro. You're going to pass.
Be selfish.
Right.
You know what I mean? For real.
Right. You got any questions for us? Any police questions?
Police questions? Ooh. So.
Anything.
Have y'all done a raid before?
Raid?
This
A
is
raid.
Baltimore City.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I've been in
Plenty of raids.
countless raids.
I think once you get out the
She's
academy,
got the cat, yeah.
they're like, oh,
Yo,
they go like this.
we gonna hit this door.
They're
Come
like,
on.
hey, big fella. You don't even know his name. Hey, big fella, I need you to come do this raid.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gonna hit the door.
I mean, I ain't gonna say I'm not. What they say, I ain't gonna hold you. The one thing that I'm proud about the department that I serve is that we're trained. If you look at other videos from different departments,
Yeah.
you look at the stuff that we do.
Mm-hmm.
We lead. In my opinion, we lead the country with like the least amount of mistakes. There was an incident.
Mm-hmm.
Suspect knife, females under him.
Mm-hmm.
The officer neutralized the threat.
Instantly.
Every round hit the threat. It didn't hit no innocent bystander. It didn't hit the female that was like right next to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Like other,
he had a knife like this too.
Yeah, he had
It's
one of
crazy.
those. Yeah, and I mean, here in Baltimore City, we're trained. We're trained.
So like,
You see other videos from different cities, and shout out to every city. But I'm on my high horse. But you see things, and you're like, ah.
So in those situations, these are like high energy, high, what do you call it? Stressful. What are the kinds of things that people might do to try to get out of that? Has anyone ever been like, hey, let me slide you some money?
What do you mean?
Like if you get in the room and there's a raid and you bump the door open.
There's on a raid, there's no opportunity.
There's no talking.
There's no talking.
No. The next time we talk is like, what's your name and date of birth?
Damn.
And you're handcuffed.
So I can't even try to be
too
like,
many movies.
hey, Bobby, what's up?
Yeah, it's too late for that.
No puppy, nothing.
Listen, if we there, we got paperwork. It's too late.
It's too late.
Yeah, as soon as that
late.
judge signs that thing,
It's over.
That's intense.
there's none of that puppy, nothing.
But and the crazy thing is, you're hitting the unknown.
That's the thing too.
So you don't even know what's on the other side.
We
never
know. Here's the thing. We know this. We know the suspect.
Yeah.
We know the location.
Yeah.
But we don't know who's in there at the time of us raining.
Mm.
So you get inside, you got to clear everything.
And you don't know what he has.
You don't know who's behind the door with a gun. You don't know nothing.
You don't know you don't know if his man was there. He just came home and he said, I ain't never going home.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck who come through that door.
Whoa.
So now we got a situation. We already got a situation inside there. But now we really got a situation.
Just telling you.
Instantaneously. Now how
Like
do you
that.
react to that?
Like that.
So how do you even get to a why of I wanna be a police officer and I wanna like be
Well,
the guy barreling the door down? Like,
Well,
what is that?
the thing is, you got to have the mindset of I never like bullies. So I'm a natural protector.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So this profession was perfect for me. Then the temperament that I have.
Okay.
And when you do this profession, you got to understand there's a chance that you could lose your life trying to save somebody else's. So you got to have a different psyche in doing this from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be okay with that.
Yeah.
You got to be okay to get a couple shots. Okay. But once I get on site, it's over.
Yeah. You got to be ready for that.
You got to be ready for it.
Every day.
Every day, all day.
Because you never know what's going to happen.
So what's that like on the home front? Are you guys married? I don't know any of this.
Yeah.
How do you're both married.
Mm-hmm.
So your wives are like okay with this.
Yeah.
I mean, if they love us, this is what feeds the family. I mean, it's a beautiful profession that affords a beautiful life.
It's
a great life.
You got to learn how to compartmentalize a lot of this stuff and not take it home because that's when it affects home.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, not for nothing. It does put a lot on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, for example, I can't go to work and have a heavy, like a real, like not like, oh my God, you didn't throw the garbage out, but like a real heavy argument.
Yeah.
I cannot work with that over my head.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
And there's a lot of officers in this country that they're dealing with a lot of you dial 911, we come in to help you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But who's coming to help us in our issues?
Yeah.
We don't have anybody.
Well, I imagine that, your home life is kind of
It's different. We miss birthday parties. We miss games and recitals and Christmases and Thanksgivings because we're out there serving a community. See what I'm saying?
I see.
After a while, it beats the family up.
I'm sure it does.
It beats the family up.
A lot of people got it messed up where they mention, the thin blue line is the no talk. No, the thin blue line to us is protection. Us protecting each other.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we'll go into the gunshots.
Yeah.
So all we got is us.
Right.
Like you got sororities and frats. They don't talk about that. Why should we talk about what goes through on us? In our line of duty. Nobody, if you want to learn, go through an academy. You don't do diamond training like we do.
Well, what about storytelling? You don't tell the story?
No, we do give great storytelling.
There's amazing stories.
Amazing stories. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, the blue line is us.
Yeah.
All we got is us at the end of the day.
Because no
What
one's
kind of
doing that,
protected?
what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like no other profession, for example.
The best way I can explain it is my pops was in Vietnam. He was a combat Vietnam vet. So those 2 years in campaign, doing what he did, never talked about it, still never talks about it. My son started playing football last year, and I met up with one of the guys there who's a lieutenant colonel in the Marines. And real good guy, calm as I don't know what. When you type his name in, was a real G.I. Joe toy, like pulling people out in combat when he was over as a Marine, when he was a young Marine. So he goes over and talked to my pops, and he saw his hat with his combat stuff on there. I never, you can't get, I haven't gotten 2 paragraphs out of my father. I'm 45 years old. Those 2 conversation.
Yeah.
Because they're 2 combat vets. This is a Marine and a 1st Cavalry Army guy. But that shared bond is what they have. You see what I'm saying? And that's what they're talking about. Now, you always have that small percentage of people who will mess up anything in every line of profession. The difference is that their line, it's on the news all the time. You see what I'm saying? Because if one person messes up, it's like everybody messes up. And that's the thing. But for them, what they're saying is they're not going to share those stories with me because our jobs are different. But they have that shared profession across the country. This is a Marine in his 40s and my father in his 70s. And now, like, he wants to invite my father to the Army-Navy game up in New Jersey because combat vet from Afghanistan, combat vet from Vietnam. But it's still same flag, same everything. So it's that type of camaraderie and what goes on.
It's because of what you share. Like, it's
brothers
what you
in
go
arms.
through. Like, for example, shout out to Albino. Albino was a cop, right? He was a cop here. And he did time in Puerto Rico with, if you a cop in Puerto Rico, like, you see some
Listen to the
different shit.
episode. Yeah.
But he's also a master contractor. So, like, a guy that is a master contractor, him and Albino gonna have conversations, right? But that master contractor can't talk to us. See what I'm saying? The way Albino could talk to us, because it's just a different whole new world.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Like, a lot of professions, a lot of people talk about the police world, but they have no idea.
Yeah.
And that's what society needs to understand. You have no, like, we show up and we're able to give great advice on, like, why your kid is not doing homework. Maybe you should put a camera there. Maybe you shouldn't be dating him if you put his hands around you. See what I'm saying? But none of those people could relate to us.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Well, that sounds lonely. That sounds difficult.
It is a
Well, no,
long-
but that's why we started the podcast.
Right.
I love that. I love that for you guys.
We want to give people an insight on what police work really is from our perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's an open forum.
Yeah.
But it's the whole first responder, like, umbrella. Like, I can't relate. I mean, I know firefighters, but I don't know what it is to feel a hot flash.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, like, they're not always in the news. See what I'm saying? We're always in the news.
Right.
Because whatever it may be. And that's the difference.
What else you got?
That's the difference. right there. But raids are fun, to answer your question.
Okay.
They're scary as fuck, but they're fun.
Sounds really scary.
Because you're hitting the unknown.
But it's a car stop too, right? It's
Same
all
thing,
unknown.
car
You don't know
stop.
what's in that car? That's why people approach car stops like that, because car stops could be your last day that you never come home.
That's sad now.
No, don't be sad. It's just a reality.
But also, the one thing that I love that y'all talked about a bunch of times, if you like listen to some of the earlier podcasts, when they first came in, some of the guys that took them under their wing were constantly training. So they would hit
All the time.
like vacant housing, this, that, and the fourth. That constant training when I'm working around military guys is what, in my opinion, keeps them so sharp, because it's a constant, you know what I'm saying? So in Baltimore, as you know, because there is a lot of, let's keep it a bean, there's a lot of crime.
Yeah.
It keeps you sharp. It really does, as opposed to, again, shout out to just anywhere else in America that doesn't have a lot of crime.
Right.
You wouldn't, it's like, oh my God, there's like a gun in the car. But for them, it's like, that's a Monday.
It's another day.
This is a Monday. So, and it doesn't mean that their level of is not just like, oh, this is another gun. It's like, no, but they're trained to deal with it, as opposed to a person that's seen one gun a year.
Right.
You won't, again, and that's in every profession.
We just end it more active on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Right. So being in a profession that's fueled by things like suspicion and mistrust, what are your trust levels like in your own personal and social lives? Like, you know what people are like because you see them at their worst. Or, you know what I mean?
That's
like,
a great
these are their
question.
worst
That is a
moments.
phenomenal
That's a
question.
great question.
That is a phenomenal question. I mean, how do you go about it?
You want me to keep it a cold glass
I
of
want
water
you
for
to
you?
keep it a cold glass of water with me. Like,
I don't trust nobody.
Mm.
okay.
I don't fuck with nobody.
I can imagine.
Yeah. It's a dirty. This world is dirty, man.
Yeah.
You've seen it as dirty.
It's a lot of it's an element out there that just want to cause bodily harm and destruction.
Mm.
And you need wolves to get out there and handle that and take care of it.
And that's what bothers me about society, is the fact that like they don't see it. It's like it's happening every day.
I think
so then why
I think the talking heads are the ones that get the most attention.
I guess because they're not around it.
Yeah, because like y'all have said multiple times, drug dealers be like, well, y'all gonna come clean these blocks up. Like,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's real. Like, that's as real as it get.
For me, I trust you until I see. Like, I give everybody, I give you at 100.
Yeah.
Once you fuck that up, it's a wrap.
Yeah. I'm just a Scorpio, and I feel like I have similar trust issues to maybe.
I'm a Scorpio too.
Are you?
Yeah.
I feel like I have a similar thing going on where like I'm gonna give you 100, but don't show me something else because it's never coming back. You got to work hard for that.
It takes a lot to grab my attention because
Uh-huh.
I don't give my energy to anybody.
No,
You got to earn that shit.
that's spot
And even
on.
if I give you my energy, I still don't trust you.
That's spot on.
I just take you for I just take it for your word.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You do it, you do it. You don't, you don't.
Yeah, face value.
Because I have my own individual circle
Mhm.
that I fuck with like that.
Yeah.
That I give all of me.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody new, you're not gonna get that.
You're not gonna
I'll be cool with you and
Yeah.
cordial because I'm a professional.
Yeah.
And I want nothing but love and positive energy. But man,
It is harder for me to start those newer relationships. Like I do have like a core circle, people I know and trust and love and who are around me. And then when you meet those new people, like we talked about, like I talked about, this city can be really magical. Sometimes I meet somebody and it just really clicks. And I'm like, I want to let you in. I do. But I also,
yeah,
a little guarded.
yeah.
I'm good.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
As you should.
I'm good.
I feel like if people were a
I'm
little
from
bit more
Baltimore. I
guarded
don't
and took their
trust half my
time,
family.
I feel like if you take more time and you're more guarded, like less mistakes happen.
They do.
I-
Literally.
I don't think that's a bad thing though, meeting new people. I think that's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love meeting, I love talking. I love
Yeah.
conversing.
Yeah.
Positive energy is a must around me. I don't like being around negative energy.
Mhm.
I don't like being around rowdy people.
Yeah.
I'm bougie. And I love that.
Yeah.
And how I am and how I dress and how I choose people I'm around and
Yeah.
everything in all walks of life. But I love that. Because when you talk the king's language, you want that. in return. You want to reciprocate.
You want to, I'm very selective. I like to be selective. I don't mind.
As you should.
You should always be selective.
Especially when you have a purpose on your life.
Yeah.
You guys understand that. You have to protect that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Should.
Conversation should always be different.
we see it in the culture, right? Like, look what happened to that poor fella. May he rest in peace.
Who?
I mean, the guy from Migos.
Take off. Yeah, God bless
you. See what I'm saying?
Sad.
There's too many people. There was too many people. Like, we were talking about it tactically. Bowling alley, hallway.
I didn't even know where
tactically, it's a nightmare.
And not even that, just like a dice game.
And then it's a dice game.
Yeah.
And you know, we're not.
He wasn't playing.
He wasn't playing, but and again, like, we weren't there. This is just based off what we read.
Not Monday quarterbacking, but
tactically.
You got to move
tactically.
You got to move different.
Yeah.
Got to move different.
It's just. It was just. You in a position where you're supposed to be super selective in this case.
And then it's really, you're dealing with the human ego, which is a very fragile thing. You know what I mean?
Say that again.
People,
especially after COVID, post-COVID.
Listen,
oh my God.
People looking at you, they like, you got this, you got that, you got money, you got purpose.
So everybody pretty much has a social media. If you don't, you have something around it. And you hear people say it all the time. Millionaires hang out with millionaires. Billionaires hang out with billionaires. It's a reason why. Because it's less risk. If we're all billionaires in the room, we're not going to do anything to each other but try to become better billionaires. We'll link up, or if not, we'll tell each other what we plan to do because y'all all billionaires with me. There's nothing that there's no angle that you haven't tried to look at outside of you trying to be a trillionaire. Same thing with millionaires. Right. Same thing with $100,000. That's why most people don't, and that's serious. And once you start to listen to that, so moving into a different realm, if I'm in a different realm, I'm not hanging in circles with people that don't match that bracket, or like H says, that energy. That energy is a millionaire's energy is different. Those brothers are millionaires. Their energy's different.
And even if you don't have what I have, you might not have the same amount of money. You got to be working on all cylinders like I am at that capacity. Be working that hard. That's the only other way to get around me.
Right.
Like, are
they're
you going
hanging
as hard?
with Jay-Z and they're writing songs for Beyonce.
Yeah.
That energy's different.
No, for sure.
So you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So going to a dice game, and again, not money, money, cornerback, and God bless him, that energy is different. When you start to get around it, you'll feel it. Again, we've all been in our respective hoods and see certain things, but my energy, if their energy don't reflect it, I'm gone.
Dog, I like a good game of CeeLo sometimes, but you know what? I'm not going to do it in the hallway of a bowling alley. I'm going to do it in my room where I'm like, oh, I know H, I know Triple C, I know Alanah, I know who. Bet y'all could come in. Everybody else, good night. And then it's a private thing. That's all I'm saying. Right. But a bowling, a hallway, that's just too open to them, to the masses.
Right. And I'm bank. You might not like my rules. You push, you pay. Trips is double. You pay me, I don't pay you.
That's it.
Oh my goodness. I had a mentor tell me a couple years ago, like, she was like, if you're going to hang out, like, now that you're getting some level of notoriety, people know who you are in the city, you need to stay home. Like, invite people over, go to their house. Don't go to bars. Don't be out late. Don't do this. Like, she gave me this whole list of things. And at the time, I'm like 24, and I'm like, what are you talking about, lady? You know? But she was on some real shit. Like, these are rules that I still follow to this day, where I'm like, okay, I got to watch myself. You know what I mean? Like, I can drink, not too much. I can go out, not too late. I can be out with some people, but not those people. You know?
That's a fact.
I mean, that's part of it. For sure.
But yeah, listen. I appreciate you coming through tonight.
Wait, I don't get another question?
Oh, yeah. Whatever.
What's up? I'm waiting on you.
So what do y'all do for fun?
Everything. Not this, like, man, everything. I like to go out. I'm a New Yorker, so my Jets all day, every day.
Okay.
Football. Shit, I like to gamble. I go to, I love, I call it brain fart. What the hell is it? Poker.
Okay, poker.
More importantly, I love to be with my girls. I'm a girl dad.
Oh.
So I'm daddy's angels all day, every day.
I love that.
Shit, between soccer, gymnastics, volleyball. Shout out to my oldest, my baby girl. She just made captain. They made her team captain.
Okay.
Shout out to Lena. I love you, baby. Daddy love you. But yo, I'm listen, and arts with my girls, coloring with them, drawing with them,
Yeah.
take them for workouts. That's it. It's whatever the family want to do. I'm a family man, so y'all have
I love
fun.
that. I think people don't talk about that enough. The fact that like family is really what makes it all go.
It's the core value. It's the
core
foundation,
value.
man.
It's the foundation. That's what makes it go.
Yeah.
That's why the grind is here. You know, my kids are a reflection of me. So
Yeah.
what I stand for, they're gonna be nothing but phenomenal human beings in this crazy
Mm-hmm.
ass world.
There's something that you said that, like, you know, when you find your
Why?
your why yourself, it's like
Daddy
I'm a
said
family man, but I don't know, man. I think I like to just go out. I love family life, like, and you know, I look at them, and I'm like, damn, I gotta be more like them.
Yeah.
But me, I don't know. I just like being outside.
But me and him, I thoroughly enjoy going out for drinks and just talking.
Yeah.
It like me, us, Triple C, we so busy. We don't even get to see Triple C like that. I only see Dre like that.
Yeah.
But we talk every day.
Okay.
And those small pockets we get so we could just chill, break bread, have some drinks. We do that. Like I enjoy, even my when I drive, I be by myself. I'm a loner. I'm always
I be by
dolo.
myself.
So I enjoy just putting music on. I enjoy having my cigar sitting in the back on my deck, watching the trees, smoking my cigar, drinking some brown water, just relaxing. Of course, after I put the girls to bed, you know, daddy duties.
Right.
But that's my little time for me. I just like to just chill and relax and link up with Dre. And that's it.
Yeah.
You know, because when you got, you know, when you are a business-minded individual and you have goals and you're an entrepreneur and you're a dad and businesses and work and, it's just, you don't have time.
Yeah.
Your time is very minimal for outside bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So I just stay busy, man. I stay busy and I see my peoples. I love them. You know, that's why we got WhatsApp.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why we got social media.
Yeah.
Stay connected with me there, you know. But Dre, I really felt what you said when you was like, I'm not just a dad. Because I'm not just a mom. Like, I'm a wild bitch. I like to go out. I like to go out and I like to have a good time. So like when I'm outside, I'm outside.
What's your good time?
A lady never tells. But it's don't give me that face. Are you zooming in on this face? It's just a good time. Like I like to be out with my girls. I have very few of those because I don't really fuck with bitches like that. I've
Real
always
catty, right?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It was time for that.
All of my closest friends, and only recently have I begun to transition over. All of my closest friends have always been guys. And I used to say like, oh, it's because I don't want to deal with women. It was this whole thing. But I had a whole self-hate thing going on. It was like really tricky. I had to kind of do some work through that and some healing around my relationship to women and why I thought that they were so bitchy and why I thought they were so this and so that. All that time around men had indoctrinated me, literally, into internalizing a level of patriarchy about women and about what they were to me and how I was interacting with them.
Wow. How was that?
That's interesting.
Preach. Word. Well said. Okay.
So
elaborate.
A lot of people not mature enough to like look at that in the mirror and then face it and then like, let me fix it.
Yeah. Basically, it was just, when you spend time around a certain crowd, that's what you become. That's what you
Crabs in a barrel.
Crabs in a barrel. So when I was around niggas, when I was around my boys with my, my homies, whether I was fucking them or not, from the age of 16, I had always been.
I need you to drink a little bit more.
Who, me?
Because that shit is coming out. It's coming out. It's coming out. Right.
Let me take a sip.
Yeah, take a sip.
Yeah, but
nah, carry on.
Spend some knowledge now.
It was always interesting being around them because they would tell me about life, about being a guy. And I'm bisexual, so let's get that out there. So it was always kind of like they would say things about women and they would be like, oh no, this bitch, she's stupid. She banging my phone too much. She doing this, she doing that. And so I internalized those things. I was listening to those things. And so it came out in the way I was when I was dealing with men. So I was always a people pleaser. I would always be the kind of woman who wouldn't want to call you too much. Oh, I didn't want to bother you. You know what I mean? But if you do want to come through, you can come through. You can come through as late as you want. You can do whatever you want with me. And that is how you come up with like these dummy archetypes, with these like slut bitch archetypes. You know what I mean? These are the kinds of women that men don't value. And I was that kind of a woman for a long time. For a long time, I was heavy on a side bitch, heavy on a fucking with the married men, heavy on all of that. And it wasn't a good time for me. It wasn't a good time for my spirit. It wasn't good for me. Now, in that, clearly I talked about, the fact that I had children and got married and all of that. But after that, it came through again because it was in my teens that I was like hypersexualizing and, thinking about boys too much and doing all of this stuff, trying to seek after an approval that I didn't get from my father. So it was like the daddy issues intertwined with that. And then you want to be around the boys. You want to be a boy's girl or whatever. You want that acceptance from the boys. You're going to chase after that. And there's some young women who do that. They don't do the thing where they're around women or they go pledge a sorority or, I wasn't that, that type of a woman. I was always around the guys, always following their rules. And so a lot of my friends that were women, I was meeting them because they were dating my guy friends. And so I wouldn't stay friends with them once they were done with them, so to speak. So if they broke up, my friendship with those women were over. And only in the last maybe 4 years have I begun to keep that collection of women on me who were friends with guys that I was friends with. And now I have those sisterhoods with them. And now I get to be in community with them. And now I get to understand that maybe they weren't being trash and maybe they weren't being bitches and maybe they weren't, calling too much. And maybe they just were trying to see the best in these men the same way I was. And maybe the way that they were speaking about those women they were dealing with is the same way they would speak about me when the door closed. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm a woman too. I had a realization maybe a couple years ago. I was like, oh shit, I'm a woman. If this is what they're saying about these bitches, quote unquote, what are they saying about me? If this is the community I'm in, if this is what we're saying about the people that we're supposed to love and the people that love us. So I had to change it up.
What kind of men were they? Were they stand up or piece of shits?
I would say just not self-actualized, like we talked about. Just they're at that level where they just don't understand yet the value of a woman, the value of their family, like you're talking about. They don't have that set of values yet. That's not what they're governed by. It didn't hit them yet. We all know that group of guys. I talk to my OGs. I have, homeboys who are in their 40s who have a lady, who are settled down and they understand that value. And they talk about their homies who don't have that, who are still in the clubs trying to live it up like they Ja Rule. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ja Rule. And he looked crazy. He's 40, trying to fuck with the 20-somethings.
Past 40.
Oh, like right now?
Past 40. Yeah, probably right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to live like that. You want to come home. You want to have a good meal, some pussy, whatever. I don't know what men want. I still don't.
No, exactly.
As much time as I...
Listen,
exactly
it's not hard.
Yeah.
It is not hard.
If women only understood that.
Listen, that's a fact.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Come home, have a drink.
That's hard to come by nowadays.
Kiss the family and kids, and here's some
no drama.
That's it. You don't even gotta talk a lot.
That's what I've learned from my time around. It's like it's just a few select things. So
it don't take much to please a man.
It don't.
Especially a man that's deserving of that.
Oh.
That sets the stage, the foundation for what a man truly is.
But it's even sweeter for a woman when he deserves it.
Ah.
It's even sweeter then.
Write a fucking book.
Like, I love to give when I feel it's deserved.
Ah!
When you've done enough for me, then now I want to come home and suck your dick.
Ah!
I'm blown away. High five.
Give me that shit.
It's the truth, though.
It's a fact.
The head is better.
You know what's crazy?
I don't know about better.
It's better.
It's up there.
Then he's going to come home. Like, if that's the attitude, I'm coming.
You coming home.
I'm coming right home.
If I'm texting you crazy shit all day, like, wait till you get in here.
I gotta go. And then you, boom.
What'd you say? If you what?
If I'm texting my nigga crazy shit, like, wait till you get in this. He's coming home. He's not gonna go to a bar. He's not gonna be in here at Bar Fusion.
That's a fact.
Looking at bitches shake their ass on the bar. He's not gonna be doing that.
Shout out to Bar Fusion.
He don't care. Cause you're it. And I think that's what a lot of women don't realize is you're it for him. We always wondering, who else you talking to? What else are you doing?
Right.
Why are you always nagging this, that, and the third? He with you. That's your nigga. I've had over the years women in my DMs like, I heard you been with such and such and such. Okay, but you're his child's mother. You have his house. Y'all paying rent together. We spent 5 minutes together at a bar on a Friday night. I mean nothing to that man.
It's the truth.
You mean everything to him.
And they feel dumb after that conversation, don't they?
Dumb.
Because it's the truth.
I had this conversation like 2 months ago with somebody. I pray she's doing well. Pray she's doing well. Like, baby, that's your man. That's not it was never my man. I don't know what you saw in him that you wanted to lock it down. I didn't. And if I wanted to, I would have. That's another thing that women don't realize. We as women have the power. If I wanted that man, I would have had him. When I had him. That Friday night or that Saturday night. If I wanted to take him home, he would have been home. And he would have stayed.
Keep drinking.
He would have stayed.
He'd have stayed.
He would have stayed.
Bars.
Oh, she spent some shit.
She the shit.
Yeah, I don't understand why they call me like, I was on the way. It's like, what was the purpose of that?
Why?
Now,
You gonna stay with him?
great question.
You're gonna stay.
Now you look dumb.
Would that shit? All right, I'm gonna set the stage now.
Yeah.
Right? Married, kids.
Yeah.
Does the kids change
Do the kids change the situation?
as far as check it, right?
Yeah.
You know the honeymoon stage when you doing what you do, and y'all do y'all freak thing. Of course, you add kids to that.
Mm-hmm.
It'll change a little bit because it'll change the dynamics drastically.
Yeah.
But will it go away?
Does that part go away?
Yes.
It can. It's really a mental thing. It's really all in what you're thinking about. It's really all in what your lady is thinking about. Because
Okay, so the
yeah.
house is taken care of.
Uh-huh.
You flip that fucking switch, light comes on, you open the refrigerator, food, pantry. You even got, you don't feel like cleaning? Boom. People cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Housemaids.
What? Oh, you don't feel like cooking? Better let's go out to eat. Let's order in. What's mental? What are we thinking about?
If a pussy's still not getting wet at that point, then it's an emotional need. It's something you're missing. There's something not being met. Maybe it's a conversation about work. Maybe it's she's not feeling herself. Because sometimes we get into our own heads about what we look like, what we feel like.
Why? Like you said, I'm with you. Like
it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And then you start invalidating each other at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're looking at her and you go to touch her and she roll over and then now you frustrated with it. She feel that, the same way we feel it. Because I've had situations where I'm the more sexual partner and I wanted more and I'm tapping you looking at me like I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I know that feeling. So it's hard both ways. And it's like, you don't want to make your partner feel that way. And if you wanted to be elsewhere, you would be. And y'all here together. And sometimes that choice is hard to stay together, even though those things are happening. When a child and a house and everything is, even when things aren't in disarray. People talk about the problems when things are in disarray, but sometimes things are very well arrayed, very well taken care of. And things can still be a little twisted in the bed or in the bedroom.
So what do you do then?
But what if there's a conversation and nothing just changed?
You said pray.
She said pray. Right.
Because what?
What you said?
No, I said, and what if there is a conversation in reference to that?
If you do have a conversation, are you saying one conversation?
No, but several in reference to, I'm not feeling,
Yeah.
Maybe,
like what's up?
What's going on?
So it's really all about the people. Because I know people, I know human beings that live in Baltimore, Black human beings that live in Baltimore, who do things like open their relationships up.
How you feel about that?
What I'll say is,
you lose me on that one.
Though I've seen it, I've never really seen it successful.
I know.
Though I've seen it, I've never seen it successful. I've seen it work for a time.
Right. It's a phase.
But
then it's not the same after that.
Because listen, if we're being realistic,
if
we're being realistic, I'm not talking about anybody in the room. I'm just saying we've all had those moments, those thoughts about the stepping out. And what if you just make a plan to do it instead of doing it haphazardly?
Isn't that called like a hall pass?
I guess it would be called a hall pass.
Yeah.
I guess it would be called it, but it really just depends on what your partner's into. Because for me, I've had boyfriends, I've had partners where I'm like, I don't mind going out and looking at women and we talk to women. That's exciting. Talk to men like, that's exciting. I want to do stuff like that. But it really just depends on the person. What makes that person happy? What makes them tick? Because some women aren't into that at all. I got some homegirls like, don't look at a woman in Target.
Yeah.
Don't do it. she's gonna stab you.
And and that's unrealistic on that woman's behalf.
It is.
It's unrealistic.
I try to talk to my homegirls. I tweet a lot. I post those things on Instagram.
What's your tweeter?
My Twitter.
What's your tweet?
I don't let anybody follow me on Twitter.
Good.
Okay. What's your Instagram?
It's Alanah has entered the chat.
Okay.
What do women do for you?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, besides being fucking the best thing God ever created.
Absolutely.
I mean, women just love you different. They want to take care of, yes. They want to take care of all your needs. They're going to make sure you eat. They're going to make sure you come. Men don't always do that.
Depends on who you with, though.
It really depends on who you're with.
It's a lot of selfish motherfuckers out there.
I will say, you guys are in the age bracket where I've experienced the most orgasm. The guys who are a little bit younger than that, they don't get it yet. They just don't know. They just there to pump, Yeah. Here I am. There I go.
Pump and dump. Thanks.
Oh my God. So what you about to do? I'm like, damn.
Right, that's how we doing it?
That's how we giving it up?
Right.
Okay. But yeah.
Yeah. So women just love you different.
Women just love you different. They're just passionate and
sexual,
They
caring.
take their time.
Sensual. They take their time.
Very sensual, yes.
It's a long game with women. A woman is not just gonna come up to your room and then be like, you're not gonna hear their belt buckle. That belt buckle sound makes me like cringe a little bit. The belt buckle sound is like when a guy comes up to your space or he's like on your couch and like you're just like minding your business. You might be watching TV or maybe you getting nachos in the other room or 2 glasses of water or gin. And then you like turn around and out of the side of your like peripheral hearing, you start to hear his belt buckle. He somehow has convinced himself that this is a sexual moment. That he's supposed to pull his dick out.
He about to get butt-ass naked.
I've had guys pull their pants down. Like, why do I see your plaid drawers? This was not the time.
And nor did I tell you.
No lead up.
What'd you say?
I said, like, nor did I give you that advance. Like, nothing.
We ain't
even touch hands or nothing.
We didn't even do nothing.
Ass nigga with the quarter socks on.
And these be the niggas that don't want to kiss in their mouth. Weird niggas. Strange, even.
Now that, damn.
Gotta stay away from them young niggas. They different. They different, son.
Word.
They don't even warm up the oven, son. They straight microwave.
What did I do to turn you on in that way?
Right. To think that it's going to pop off like that.
All I did was open the door. You sat down. I'm in the kitchen getting nachos. I turned around one time. This nigga had his shirt off. Shirt off. He's standing there looking at me at my dinner table where I feed my children.
How did that go?
Movie not even on.
The movie didn't even start.
Right.
We just in there getting snacks. I'm pouring in some ginger ale. Would you like some pop, sir?
Damn. He got butt ass naked.
No, his shirt was on.
He's like, what you doing? Was it that hot?
He had his pants riding low like the D'Angelo video.
Was it hot in the room? Like just...
It wasn't hot at all.
Wow.
I was making no advances. I was just being myself. Which, granted, can be a little sexy.
Could be, right. He probably just like,
niggas be drawn off me. I'm not going to lie. But, I don't know.
How did that go?
I had to take him upstairs. I didn't want it to happen in the kitchen. I wanted what he was there for. I just didn't want it in that moment.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
She's real.
She lost the Mohicans. Word. Nah.
It's the truth.
Word. That's what's up.
Not y'all treat me like the Messiah because I like dick.
Good God. No, sir.
What advice would you give women to be, just more like sexual?
Tending to their, significant others.
That's the thing is, like I talked about, shout out to me spending all that time with niggas. Because I just know because they told me what they liked. Whether, like I said, I was fucking them or not. And a lot of times I was not. But just listening, I would say listen. If you're not going to get a gaggle of homeboys like I did and spend time sucking dick in your teens, then maybe you should just listen to men. Just listen. You don't have to suck a lot of dick. A lot of women get scared about that part. I tell them that part of the sentence. They be like, I don't like sucking dick. Maybe you should try it. because they like that shit. But you could also just listen to them. They usually tell you what they want. You guys are very vocal. It might not be many words, might be 10 words. But in those 10 words, you're going to find the keys to his happiness. He's going to love you forever.
That is, I mean, shit.
It's not going to be an easy relationship. I don't have easy relationships. But they're worth it.
Men and women.
Men and women.
You are the accurate legend of women.
He said accurate legend. That's so stupid.
Wasn't it the truth,
You
son?
so
That was
fucking
the truth,
stupid.
though,
He said
son.
accurate
The
legend.
axe on the coop.
That's it right there.
You're the accurate legend of women. They don't make them no more, but it was a badass whip. You put the rims on it.
Classic.
No, it's dope because no, a lot of men don't deserve that from a woman. A lot of men don't deserve it. But my thing is, when you got a phenomenal man that's hardworking, does what he's supposed to do, family first mentality, take care of the tribe, make sure everybody's great. I think that man deserves the world.
Especially some head.
At the least.
Right.
As soon as you walk in the house.
A little sick on
now,
we given two assignments: protect and provide.
Gentlemen have to, keep up on certain things too. Like, I want you to smell good. I want you to look good.
That goes without.
That goes with the territory.
I'm just
that
saying.
goes without even saying.
You don't want nigga musty expecting to get head and you smell like butter down there. That's not a good look.
I think it goes without saying, but some of y'all homeboys, lo and behold, be walking around trying to come with the trap gene funk at the end of the night. Please go home, shower.
The blanket lit dick on. Disgusting. That's
and
disgusting.
that's just the thing you don't have to worry about with women. For me, very selective with the woman. I've not had one of those experiences with like the fishiness or like whatever be happening.
That's not a good look.
No.
That shit smell like Hong Kong foodie. That's a problem.
I don't want it to smell like #1 Chinese on the corner. I don't want it to smell like that.
Don't come back, please. Good God. But you gotta have standards anyway. You know what I mean?
For real.
For real.
But the dude should know, like, hey, I was just, let me go upstairs real quick.
Yeah,
Now you take care of that before you get there.
Yeah.
No, but also, I've had some encounters, and these are like what I like to call unicorns, with men who have everything you need at the crib. They've got clean washcloths, and they've got soaps that are like organic, and they've got pretty wallpaper, and they've got shower heads, and like just everything a woman might need to feel comfortable in a space. Tampons, like, nigga, you know the vibes. You know what a woman needs. Like, have those things, baskets, and we like that shit. Be prepared, cause that whole like I come over and it's just like a flat gray pillowcase and a fitted sheet and a fucking fridge with a bottle of water and like no juice, no fucking alcohol. Like, how I'm supposed to get there? How we getting there? You want me to squirt on you? How we getting there?
Right.
What's the vehicle we're taking to get to this point?
Right.
Explain it to me. You texted me all this shit and now I'm here and the house is empty. You don't even have a couch. We sinking on an air mattress. Your grandmother's upstairs. She's on a respirator.
What?
Make it stop. I've lived these nightmares.
Your Netflix is like this.
You don't even have Wi-Fi.
Your Wi-Fi is not that. Yeah.
We open your Netflix account and it's your girls. It say
Oh,
Barbara. Who's
Barbara?
Who's Barbara?
Who's Barbara?
Who's Barbara?
Yo, men, you gotta do better. Gotta do better, man.
Who's Barbara?
So while it's women, it's also the men. It's
both.
It's a concerted effort. We need to come together.
We don't call those guys men though.
No, absolutely.
Because I'm serious.
They're not men.
I'm serious, and we will tell them that to their face. It's a standard. There's a standard for us to call you a man. It ain't just this. It ain't just that. It's the whole thing. It's to protect, provide. It's to being able to have those tough conversations without it going into being a fight and this. And it also is, like you said, it's that part. If you know you're going to entertain a woman.
Right.
Figure out what they, you know what I'm saying?
You want me to be an eater? You be an eater too.
Woo!
Bars.
Wow. Bars tonight.
Good.
You're getting the funk flex bomb.
Right
now. You wouldn't.
She might be walking
You
away
wouldn't
with
do
it.
You want me to
right
be
now.
an eater? You gotta be an eater.
That
too.
might be the thing.
That's it right there.
Wow.
Let me get another one.
Oh my
She
God.
said, "You want me to be an
I
eater?
never
You
even
gotta
heard
be
no
an
shit like
eater
that.
too." Huh?
I learned from the best.
Alanah.
Whew.
Wow.
Listen,
Wow.
Miss Alanah, do you have any other questions for us? I love that.
I could go on. I mean, but I don't want to take up all
Bless
your
the
time.
mic. What's up?
I mean,
We here,
you hot right now, Keith.
right?
You can't stop the concert in the middle of the best song.
I mean, you right. That
All
would be
right. So,
sick.
what's your standards for now? What do you look for in a man?
Now, you
This
know,
age now, you're not young no more.
yeah.
So, what do you want?
Like in the first half of the show where we talked about the fact that I'm a community advocate and an educator and all these beautiful things, you know, those things came with time. Like it took time to forge Alanah Nicole Davis, like all of the things that I am. And I need somebody who can step correct. Have you been taking the time to become who you're supposed to be?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the first thing. Like, are you becoming who you're supposed to be? I want someone who's also on that path of self-actualizing and like reaching their goals.
Now, is this stipulations for side dick or stipulations for the man that you want?
This is for the
Because
man
you're going
that I
both
want.
ways. Okay.
This is for the man that I want.
Okay.
And like the side thing I haven't done in a little bit because it just got complicated and this is a tricky city and these women are crazy. Like they will hurt you over there, man.
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky to have some situations where like I was actually fortunate enough to talk to some of the wives and like have conversations and they felt where I was coming from. And believe me, they be doing their own thing too.
I'm sure.
And they'll
You
tell
think
me.
wives be doing their own thing?
Yeah.
You think wives cheat?
Do I think?
Yeah.
I was a wife, and all I'm gonna say is yes.
Really? This is interesting. How? They like, how?
How was all right? Okay, so how was your husband with you?
You say how was he with me?
Yeah.
Scared.
Was it easy for you to move around and do what you wanted to do?
At the time that I needed it for it to be easy, yes.
So you just make time for what you want.
I make time for the things that I want.
I think everybody makes time for the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those little overnight bags get packed. They do.
How you ain't notice?
I would go to the gym then.
For the overnight?
Yeah. So my gym bag was my overnight bag. Very simple.
So because women will be like, I never cheat.
That's a lie.
It's a
Because
lie.
even if it's emotionally, it might not be physically. I'm not gonna put that on
I love
all
that.
the women.
Okay.
Even if it's emotionally, because a lot of times y'all be missing the conversations and the little nuances and the things that we need, like as women, to kind of keep going and feel womanly and
And
feminine.
then it's the work
Right.
husband at work.
Then
right?
you got the work husbands. You got the nigga that's gonna like come and give you the nice hug and he's giving you a couple dollars or
And
maybe
drop
you
that
want
dick up in you?
You know, maybe he did.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you like go to Melba's on a Monday or a Sunday. You meet one of them little cat daddies that put the lunch money in your hand real quick. And he'd be like, do you need a little lunch money for tomorrow? You say, yes, I do. Need some lunch money for tomorrow and some dick on my way home. Thank you. And he always drives an Escalade. It's a very big car. It's got a lot of space.
She said the little cat daddy.
You need so much money, yes, and some dick.
And sometimes he don't even want no sugar. He just want to smell it because he ain't smelled young pussy in a while. So.
Wow. And Melba's, huh?
I'm sorry. Shout out to my 20s.
What?
Sounds like you had a lot of fun in your 20s. That's dope.
You got any Negro spirituals on that board? 'Cause
That's dope.
What, like, yeah, that's dope.
She ain't never gonna reveal them all, but she gave you a few.
No, I gave you a few instances as to where a woman might be able to get her rocks off, and we do. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No, men do it all the time. It's,
Right.
It's human.
It's human.
It's human. That error is human.
It is.
So.
It is.
As much as you might love somebody, you know, I've loved the same nigga for 13 years. We ain't talking right now. I talk about this openly every time somebody like, I don't really give a fuck. But he knows I love him. I would love to be with this man. But he knows I'm a wild bitch. And I know he's a wild nigga. I don't know if it's ever going to align. And I'm okay with that. But when we fuck, it's good. But I might have to move on.
You might have to move on?
Right. I might have to go find like my man, my king. You feel me?
Yeah.
Somebody deserves what I have to give.
I know that's right. Now, is he still great for like conversation? Stimulating you mentally?
Yes.
And that's what you can't break fully away from.
That's what I can't break fully away from.
It's the mental aspect.
It's the mental.
Yeah.
He gets it. He can talk to
He's
me.
on that level with you.
Yes.
He's like your energy
Until you
partner
find
in a
that,
sense.
it's going to be like, you know what? I can't just let him go.
I can't just let him go like that. That's the crazy part.
Because it ain't even about sex, really.
It's not about that.
No.
I could go forever without touching that man. Even though I might always want to. It's what he says to me. It's how he gets it. I don't have to tell him I'm a eater. He knows. I don't have to say those things out loud to him. He knows. I don't have to act like that in public with him. He knows. And then when we go home,
he knows.
He knows.
He receives.
He does.
Yeah.
That's why you like Jill Scott so much. They are very similar in spirit.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's tough though. Because y'all both wild.
No, both wild. You know, he's definitely calmed down. He had his womanizer years, and now that we're creeping into our 30s, he's calmed down a whole lot. You know, and I love that for him. Mm-hmm. And I've always respected that about him, that he knew who he was, and he could tell me who he was, and he never lied about it.
That's dope.
I didn't know who they were, but I knew they were getting it too. And that made me mad sometimes, but what was I going to do? You know, beat him up for it? We were in our 20s. Like, I think those expectations get so high from women so quick. You meet a guy, you want him to buckle down, you want him to give you a family, you want a house, you want everything. And they don't even be ready to do that. Niggas be making $22,300 a year. You want all of these things from him, you know? Let him build, let him find himself. And if y'all are meant to find each other, y'all will. You know? Those moments that you get to have together are going to be worth it if you wait for them. And don't force it.
That's dope. It's a marathon.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
This might be number 1 for season 4, bro.
Yeah, this is hard.
Alanah's fire.
This is
wow.
Hard. Yeah.
Sorry, it took me a second to.
No, I love it.
I mean, yeah.
Fire.
I thought you wanted the writer one. I thought you wanted the.
No, we want it all. We want it all. We want it all.
I can see why you're a writer. Sure. I mean,
and that's what the world respect.
Yeah.
We got to give it to them raw the way it is. Mm-hmm. Damn. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this was a phenomenal episode by my sister Alanah. I want to thank her for coming on. Trust me, she's coming back on again. Would you like to give any shout outs before we wrap this up, sis?
I just want to shout you guys out. You know, thank you for allowing me to be myself. And I love any space that I could just, you know, fill the room with the things that I'm thinking. And I really appreciate this platform and what you're doing for people and for yourselves and for your community, you know, of law enforcement people. And
thank you.
You know, that's really dope. Like, storytelling is like at the forefront of what is going to change this world. And so when we continue to have these groundbreaking conversations, whether it be about love and relationship or whether it be about, you know, protecting the world, we're going to change things. We're pushing against the fringes and against what is being said about our people.
Absolutely. I appreciate you.
So thank you.
No, thank you. It means everything. How can people reach you social media wise?
They can follow me on Instagram at Alanah has entered the chat. That is my main source of, you know, contact.
Perfect. IG. Shout out to Harper and who else? Blair. Mommy killed it tonight.
Don't listen to this girl. Go to bed.
Right. It's bedtime, by the way. My peoples, we appreciate you. Silverback Chronicles podcast. It's your boy Big H. My brother Dre.
Peace and love.
Triple C.
With all the peacemakers.
All right, y'all. Be safe. Keep squares out the circle. We love you. See you next week. Peace.
That was fire.
That was dope.
Shit.
You guys are the best.
Dope. No, you're the best. That shit was amazing.
views and opinions expressed on the Silverback Chronicles podcasts are those of the hosts, producers, or the guest appearing on the program. They do not reflect the views and opinions of the federal, state, or local government. This includes but not exclusive to the Department of Defense, Homeland, and the Baltimore City Police Department. The Silverback Chronicles podcast with Dre, Big H, and Triple C. Hit the subscribe button, like and comment.